Good morning. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Let's take you through the headlines this Monday. Shares of IDFC Bank in spotlight today after the bank revealed a 590 crore rupee fraud at a Chandigarh branch. Investors fear the fraud could be more widespread. The bank's 61,000 crore market cap could take a big hit. The fraud is more than the bank's Q3 net profit and nearly 40% of its last year's bottom line. Cloud over India-US trade ties as the government applies brakes on talks with the US, which were scheduled from today. Despite Donald Trump's assertion that the trade deal with India was on track, reports say the government is of the view that the US Supreme Court decision may give it more flexibility in trade talks. Busy day and week ahead for the markets. Tariff jitters, a big trigger today, even as markets wait for the big macro number. Q3 GDP figures, which will be announced this Friday. The IPO street is jammed again with at least 4 main board and 5 SME public issues opening for subscription. Wall Street ends higher on Friday, Dow up over 200 points, but US futures slip on fresh Trump tariff jitters, with Nvidia and Salesforce earnings in focus. Asian markets mixed as China and Japan shut today. Oil slides amid global trade uncertainty. The government asked PSU banks to lower interest rates for MSMEs. Financial Services Secretary questions why small borrowers are being charged a higher interest rate than big corporates. Says that banks should not be making losses on the loans while keeping in mind that the MSME sector is the core. Well, shockwaves rippling through the banking sector with a massive financial scandal in the IDFC First Bank coming to light. IDFC First Bank officially registered a police complaint and informed regulators this weekend when a staggering 590 crore rupee fraud involving the Haryana government accounts at its Chandigarh branch came to light. The discrepancy was uncovered during a routine account closure request, exposing several rogue employees. In a swift and unprecedented retaliatory move, the Haryana government has de-empaneled the lender and ordered the immediate withdrawal of all state funds. And a further update coming in as we speak. IDFC First has addressed investors in a con call. They've acted decisively against the fraud, saying that they will not spare those involved in the fraud. Scanning systems to contain such frauds, they've put that into motion and saying that the Haryana government's deposits are about 0.5% of total deposits, trying to reassure investors there. Checks were forged not in a digital mode, and forged checks were issued to external accounts. IDFC says they will be able to manage the case comfortably. No error in Haryana government's statements. Fraud amount could change, and they may see recovery as well. For more on this, let's go across to Nachiket Kelkar. Nachiket, this is really, making the markets a bit nervous to see a fraud in a banking major after a very long time. IDFC this morning trying to contain it and trying to reassure investors, saying it's all under control. But decode the fine print for us.
What has happened is this whole issue came to light when certain departments of the Haryana government approached IDFC First Bank to withdraw their deposits. This was following a government circular that, the public sector undertakings of the Haryana government and several Haryana's government departments should deal only with public sector banks. So the idea was to shift the money from banks like IDFC First Bank into public sector. And this is when the discrepancies in the accounts were found, the balance that the departments were claiming versus balance that was found in the account. Now, a preliminary investigation was done by IDFC First Bank, and what officials say is that the matter was restricted to one branch in Chandigarh. It is not a widespread issue, and it also does not affect other accounts in the bank. Certain 4 employees of the bank have already been suspended. The matter has been escalated. An independent audit is going to be ordered by IDFC First Bank. And what the officials are saying is that they will take strict criminal action against all the employees who are found involved in this.
Right. Just to understand, Nachiket, they're trying to allude essentially that because this was due to external checks, that the statements are all intact and they'll be able to manage any fallout of this. Also give us some kind of an indication onto the AU Small Finance Bank clarification also that's coming in, as they've also been involved in this.
Correct. So what has happened is I think IDFC First Bank and AU Small Finance Bank were the two banks which were empaneled where the deposits were. With the government ordering all the government departments to shift money from public sector banks to shift the money to public sector banks from private banks. The departments have approached both IDFC First Bank as well as AU Bank to withdraw the money from their accounts. Now, both IDFC First Bank as well as AU Bank have said that the deposits are not significant and that the impact after this is not going to be significant. For IDFC First Bank, the problem is that the 590 crore hit that it is claiming because of the fraud right now is more than the quarterly profit of 503 crores that they reported in the October-December quarter. So that amount may not have a huge impact on the broader operations of the bank, but it is still a significant amount.
That is the key takeaway. Nachiket, thanks so much for taking us through that and highlighting that and some of the key ramifications of this. We have also got the opening bell on your screen. Let's first pull up actually both of these key stocks that are in focus. The index is intact today. Also, of course, post all the news around Trump and tariffs over the weekend. So that was anticipated. But let's take a look. IDFC First, clear hammering on the back of this. A fraud of this scale, no matter how the bank is trying to manage it, the fact that this could happen has left the market very nervous. And AU Small Fin also down about 5%. Remember, the Haryana government also saying they're completely withdrawing their funds, even though IDFC has said that they will, of course, that the amount is just about 0.5% of their overall deposits. That's still making the markets very nervous. Nifty Bank is down just marginally. Some of the other key banking names, we'll take a look at how they're faring, because overall there was expectation that some amount of momentum would pick up when it comes to the banking pack. So the news apart, we are seeing movement in the likes of, for instance, and Access is on the move today. That one's up about 1% or so. Of course, a market favorite always, but let's also see what's driving up Access this morning. We've got... here we go, some news coming in on Access. CLSA, of course, has said that it could be a win for Access, buying stake in Credit Access Grameen. So that's what's driving Access higher this morning. And we are seeing some momentum building in some of the other key banking majors as well. We'll keep an eye on that. Quick look at IT and how it's faring today and whether or not we're just about managing to stabilize at lower levels. Let's pull that up for you. But financials, clearly on your screen, is where the strength is coming from, apart from, of course, an IDFC First, which is being battered on the back of that fraud news. IT also stable today, so hopefully the worst is behind us. A lot of brokerage downgrades coming in or reassessment on many of those IT names, but this morning fairly steady. We've got Shailendra Bhatnagar and Avinash Gorakshakar joining us this morning. Shail, coming to you first. How's it looking on opening ticks?
Well, Abha, deep pain on IDFC First Bank, and this is likely to accelerate given the fact that just the first layer of this scam that you mentioned has been revealed. The top loser on NSE 500, as also AU Bank down 5%. Apart from that, I think it's the manufacturing space that's doing pretty well. That's a sector that we need to keep an eye out on. All German giants, all European giants like ABB, Siemens, Schneider, and as also local giants, Thermax in top shape. But it's the banks. Beneficiaries perhaps of this scam, apart from IDFC First that are leaping up. HDFC Bank today is high 922. You have strength coming into Axis, which you just marked. Apart from that, the PSU banking setup is looking good. So Monday starts on a front foot with 1676 shares in the green versus 674 in the red. It's a good day.
Okay, and for once I'm in agreement, Shell, but And we've got HDFC Bank also seeing some amount of strength coming in. Also coming in on your screen, breaking news that bullion is shining amid those tariff jitters. Gold is now jumping 3,200 to 1.6 lakhs. MCX silver also surging this morning. Let's pull that up for you as well. Gold now at 1.6 lakhs and MCX silver jumping 15,000 to 2.68 lakhs. So that's the kind of move we're seeing on the precious metals. Remember, the entire tariff scenario, while in the short term is good news, but again, on the back of uncertainty, creating some amount of safe haven buying there in the market. Avinash, good morning. Let's first get your perspective on what it's looking like for the index, for the market, momentum, sentiment. We've got the last 2 days of expiry, of course, for the month. What's it looking like to you?
Yeah, good morning, Ava. Good morning, Shell. See, my sense is that the markets would definitely see a gap up opening today because clearly the tariff issue is out. I think Donald Trump now has been told by the US Supreme Court that these tariff increases were completely illegal. But it creates a little bit of uncertainty for the export sectors, Ava, because now we've been talking to some exporters, from the textile and the auto component space. There's a little bit of uncertainty as to what could be the final tariff and how things could shape up going forward. So I think the markets would take it in a good chin as of now. But I think going forward there should be some clarity as to what kind of tariff finally comes onto India. Donald Trump has imposed a 15% kind of a complete duty on all the countries. But I think coming to the domestic markets, I think the Q3 result season was much better than expectations. My sense is that the markets could see some gradual value buying in companies where the numbers have been good, the commentary has been great. And I think sectors like auto components, capital goods, hospitals, hospitality, these are bright spots in this market. If at all you get a chance to buy at lower levels, I think the alpha could be significantly high. So it continues to be a stock pickers market. My sense is that once today's gap up is complete, the markets would wait for more clarity, because without that the markets cannot go up on this level. So definitely approach the market on a stock specific level, which I think could give in a very good reward, because Q4 is expected to be much better than the quarter 3.
Okay, just want to pull up UPL for you. Remember, they're going to spin off and list their crop protection business. So just pull up the stock for you. That's why you're seeing this extreme reaction on a UPL this morning. Let's just pull that up for you. And I'm not sure, Avinash, if you track UPL on a closely, but I'll get your view in on that in a moment in case you do. 696 is down about 8%, and this is due to plans to spin off and list the crop protection business. Coming at a time like this, what do you feel investors should look for through this kind of demerger?
No, I think clearly, the demerger is targeted to add value to the shareholders. Once the subsidiary gets listed, I think you're going to see a good value upside. But I think in the near term, there are some doubts whether, this subsidiary is going to actually be profitable, what kind of value monetization would happen, and what could be the swap ratio. So I think, markets are a little uncertain, and that's the reason the markets have given it a thumbs down. But I think as more clarity comes in, we have the management commentary, discussing the pros and cons of this demerger. I think clarity will come in. So I think, investors who want to take a slightly longer term call can use the weakness to actually accumulate the stock. Our sense is that this year with a good monsoon, numbers going forward should be better. And I think the demonetization, or sorry, the demerger which is expected is going to add value, but it will take some time, maybe a couple of quarters before you see some clarity.
All right. I want to get your view in on some of these IT names because we said Jeffries saying that AI may structurally change the IT business mix towards consulting and implementation while shrinking managed services. And due to the risks involved in that, they're still seeing a possibly higher downside going forward. They've cut their price targets by up to 33% and downgraded a whole host of names: Infy, HCL Tech, Emphasis, LTI Mindtree, TCS, Hexaware, the whole host of them. What's your take, Avinash, when it comes to the IT pack?
No, I think, see, Indian companies, according to me, have got the bandwidth and the tenacity to actually approach the AI kind of scenario. I think what is important is that AI is going to be a facilitator. I think it's not going to result into business closure for these companies. But I think in the short term, there could be a lot of uncertainty as to how many people these companies would have to cut down. I think that is the near-term challenge. But I think you must understand one thing, that AI is only going to be a facilitator. In fact, AI could improve the productivity of these companies in the longer term by 30-40%. And mind you, these companies are all cash rich. TCS is a company which has got a lot of cash. So in case they announce a buyback, the whole sentiment could change. So I think, somebody who's got a 12 to 18 month kind of time frame should stay invested here. But yes, I think movement in these stocks would be a little slow. So that's a point which investors should take a mind of.
All right. Shell, after the markets have settled into opening, any other key trends emerging this morning?
Yes, Abha, record high on Indian Bank and Bharat Forge. Indian Bank, of course, we've been marking for a very, very long time. 963 for you. As I've been pointing out, the manufacturing setup is looking pretty good. I'd like to mark Cummins India, a fresh record high on this one, 4792, after the 21-year tax holiday that has come into the data-centric space by the government. The GCC space. Cummins has been the biggest beneficiary. Remember, about 26% of their revenue comes from power generation equipment, and this is a direct play to that theme that's looking pretty well. And of course, there's no stopping State Bank of India, 1% higher, fresh record high, strength coming into the AMC pack as well. This is looking good. Pain continues on IDFC First Bank, as also AU Bank. Remember, AU Bank was hitting repeated highs. So a 7% downtick there. But all in all, it's a good day for the markets.
Okay. Avinash, I didn't get your take on the IDFC and AU fiasco with regards to that fraud. What's your view in on it?
No, I think it's a big negative surprise, Abba, because ever since Mr. Vaidyanathan took over the bank, this is the first incident of a fraud in a bank like IDFC First. And I think the number seems to be small, but I think, the trust factor is something which the markets would obviously take in account. AU for Small Finance Bank has also given a clarification that, they don't have a large deposit base, from Haryana government. But I think we'll have to see typically what kind of impact it does in the Q4 numbers, because this will have to be provisioned in the Q4 numbers. Net, I think today the stock is down. I think we'll have to wait for some clarity. There has been some conference call where the management has guided that not much damage is done. But, in qualitative terms, the stock will underperform for some time. So I think investors should wait and watch here rather than making a hurried, entry at this point of time.
Fair. It really is all about the banks this morning, and the downside, of course, on IDFC and AU Small Fin on the back of the trust factor, as Avinash so rightly pointed out. Under Mr. Vaidyanathan's tenure, this really has been the first such incident. And on the upside, we've got Access on brokerage upgrades, got State Bank of India in talks with Japan lenders to fund jumbo acquisitions, and SBI is also up 1%. HDFC Bank is up 1%. So clearly, a lot of interest when it comes to some of the banking majors. And we've been waiting for that. And clearly, ahead of expiry tomorrow, we're definitely seeing some of that action pick up. We'll leave it there this morning. Thanks so much for watching. Do tune in at 3 p.m. for market closing.